You're listening to the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, considering getting on the mats, or maybe you're building up for a successful year as a Gracie Barra Ambassador. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When you want to be a wrestler, start training Jiu-Jitsu. I'd like to welcome Taya Jones and her mum Danielle to the podcast. Hi Taya, hi Danielle, how are you?
Hi, we're good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me. This is an emergency recording because we recorded a couple of months ago, and in the final production, there wasn't quite enough footage and quality audio to get a full episode. So we're restaging this whole thing a couple of days before its release. So I'm absolutely grateful to have you here. These things do happen, but we have to work on the fly and just go with it. Bit like competition, don't you think, Taya?
Yeah.
So, Taya, we know you're a fantastic competitor. Tell us about your competition, your recent competition experience.
I recently competed in the UMAC, and I got double gold. Well,
Wow.
I got golden gi, and then I didn't do no gi because I couldn't get a match, and then I did the absolute and got gold, and I fought in submission series, which is invitational, which was really nice, in Newcastle, and it was really nice.
So you train down at Gracie Barra and Salisbury, where I've met you before, and you're a yellow belt. So Newcastle is quite a way. Danielle, was that down to you and Taya's dad to get her there?
Yes, yeah, it was six and a half hour drive up there. It was we just wanted to give her the experience. It was an amazing show, amazing opportunity, a great thing that they're doing for the young competitors. We also got in contact with Cody Steele and her dad before we went up there. So Taya met Cody and they got on really well. They've become really good friends. The production was incredible. It was well worth it. We loved it. She definitely wants to be back on. We're going to sort of get her back on the show again in the near future. She's just a bit busy at the moment.
Amazing. So you previously mentioned about competing in the absolute. Now, I didn't realise there was a kids' absolute. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
So it was in the UMAC. It was like for boys, girls, and then it was under. Was it 13? It was like 8 to 13, and it was like any weights and any belts. So that was the.
It was your first absolute that she's done, so it was a great experience.
It's nice to fight different people, different the weights and belts. It's a different fight. It's different fights, and it's good.
Now, the absolute for me always, it sounds like, because I've not competed in an absolute, because when I've competed, I've only been a white belt, and white belts usually don't get the opportunity to drop into an absolute, mostly, but I know sometimes there's the opportunity. But as a yellow belt, competing in the absolute, does it feel like when you're training or sparring hard with some of your teammates at the clubs?
Well, depends who I'm fighting, because if I fight someone much bigger, then it's definitely much tougher. But the people at my club, they're bigger than me, so it does feel a bit like at my club, fighting people heavier than me, because I usually do it. But I struggle fighting people lighter than me, because there's not many people lighter than me, which is when I think I struggle more, because they're more fast and very quick, and it's not as great for me.
That's interesting. I wasn't expecting you to say that. So that if there are kind of lighter opponents, because being an adult, weight is kind of important to be matched up for competition. But yeah, I hadn't thought about competing with someone lighter and the speed aspect. But you're pretty fast anyway, aren't you, Taya?
I try to be.
So what kind of aspects do you bring to your game when you're having to deal with someone with speed? How do you deal with that?
I think I like to be very calm when I fight, so I feel like I bring balance to like the speed. I feel like I just try and be calm, and then it like slows them down a bit. Because I don't think I'm a great aggressive, like fast, like fighter. I think I'm more calm and relaxed. So I feel like I balance it out a bit.
It sounds like you do, and you're a yellow belt, and you're 12 years old. Is that right, Taya? And if do you have any stripes on your yellow belt yet?
I've got one stripe.
Oh, amazing! Was that a bit of a surprise?
Yes, I wasn't expecting it, and they did it wonky actually, just to bug me because I said, "Oh, I want my stripe to be perfect," and and he did it wonky.
Nice. That we love wonky stripes. We're all up for wonky stripes. I love that. It sounds like a bit of fun, actually.
Yeah.
So what happened on the night that you got your wonky stripe?
Well, I was stood in the line, like when we bow out, and then they called me up, and I was quite surprised actually because I didn't think I was gonna get a stripe because like I got my yellow belt, and I never expect it because at the end, like whenever they bring up like the tape to do the stripes, I always think there's gonna be someone else, and then they called up me. I was like, it's me this time. I was very happy. And then I show it off to my mum and my dad.
Oh, amazing. And I guess you weren't expecting it either, Danielle.
No, never, no, never do really. It's lovely, a surprise. I think for us, the shock, just having it, the yellow belt was a massive shock for us. In the first place, we weren't expecting her to get a yellow belt when she got given it back in October last year. So yeah, so any progress she makes, we're always like really proud of her. We always, yeah, it's brilliant. We love it. We love to see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, it's so nice. I know often when you're a fresh white belt or kind of progressing, um, I remember feeling really, really nervous whenever there was a promotion and kind of wishing that it was not me and thinking, or maybe it might be. It took me back to my childhood days, being called up in front of assembly, in front of the whole school to receive an award or whatever it was. And it was just so embarrassing. Do you get embarrassed when you get promoted?
Yeah, because it's everyone watches you, and then you have to walk up, and then you have to make the awkward walk back to the line, and especially if you've like graded above someone, then you have to go in front of them.
Oh, yes, I forgot the repositioning in the line. Oh, my goodness. Well, maybe one day you and I will not feel so embarrassed about receiving a promotion. You've got a lot of time ahead of you. And yeah, I wish that you feel comfortable and maybe have a little dance on the way back and, really enjoy that next wonky stripe. Um, Danielle, I want to thank you again for being Taya's mum and supporting her journey. Now, there was something you did know about in Taya's Brazilian Jiu Jitsu career. Do you want to tell us more about the ambassadorship?
Yeah. So we applied for Taya to become a Gracie Barra Ambassador last year, and yeah, we obviously Taya was really excited about it. It was an amazing opportunity. We didn't obviously know if she was going to get offered it or not. It was only offered to a certain limited amount of children and adults throughout the country. So I got the phone call from her professor to say that she had been selected, which was amazing. And we decided between us that we weren't going to tell Taya, and we were going to make it a surprise. So Simon Ling came to Salisbury actually to do a special class, and Taya and another team went along with the adults, and the room was full of people, and they were all lined up, and all of the professors were lined up. And before they started the class, they did a speech about the journey of a certain student, and how this person had grown and done really well and had applied to be an ambassador. And then they called Taya out of the line, and I had my video on at the time, and I didn't know how she was going to react, because I knew how much it meant to her and how much she really wanted it, and it was such an honour. But in front of everyone, as you just discussed, she's not very good at being in front of an audience. So, but yeah, when they told her, her face was amazing. She was shocked. She was happy. She turned around, looked at me, and was like. It was a incredible moment for all of us, everyone. There was people there across different schools, coming to see Simon and his training session. So there was loads of people there that saw her get told the news. So she was very, very happy. It was brilliant. It was a great surprise for her.
And it must have been an incredibly proud moment for you and Taya's dad to see her be awarded the ambassadorship as well.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah, I had my phone out. I was filming it. It was amazing. We were so proud of her. Just great opportunity for her.
Yes. I know it's always, there's lots of criteria for all of these things. And Taya, I just want to say congratulations, because you're a few months in to your ambassadorship now. First of all, tell me what was going through your mind when Simon Ling was talking about the journey of this student. Did you have any idea at all?
No, I thought it was going to be. They were talking about someone. They were like, this person's had a great journey. I didn't think at all that it could have been me. I thought they were going to say someone in the line, someone else, and I was like, oh, I wonder who they're talking about in the line. And then they called my name, and I was shocked. And then I went up, and they were like, yeah, she's an ambassador now. And I was just shocked. I was I didn't know what to say. I was I couldn't even say words. I was just...
I love that. I was thinking about, other people's journeys, and when, even in competition, where you kind of have that adrenaline dump of kind of emotion, and for you it sounds like you weren't expecting it. You were completely humble in your mindset. I bet you were probably looking up and down the line going, who can it be? But then being lost for words, and you're quite talkative most of the time. Is that right, Danielle, of Taya?
Oh yes. She's known for her chattiness across the schools, and her chatty and smiley face.
I love it. You've always been very smiley, but sometimes quite serious when I've seen you on the mats training, and just incredible. But I'm so pleased that it was you, and not necessarily pleased that you were lost for words, but I guess that's part of the overwhelm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so how has your journey been so far, being a GB ambassador?
Yeah, we've been really good, isn't it? So we've got the CompNet Europeans on Sunday, so we're excited to go there and to be as an ambassador, and also to be she's competing. She's moving up a few weights, so that'll be exciting. And we've through the ambassadorship, we're able to do the Europeans this year, which is again incredible. It's in May, so we're going over to we booked the Europeans, which she's very excited about.
Whereabouts is that?
It's in Rome this year.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. So you're all going off to Rome. Does that happen to be May half term?
Not May half term, no.
In between.
It's just before, but yeah, we're gonna. The school are really supportive, so we're able to take her out of school for it, and yeah, we've been just like lots of promotions. Online, she's had an amazing care package through the ambassadorship: uniform, t-shirts, hoodies, so generous, backpacks. Yeah, really, really good.
Oh, and how has that felt, having parcels in the post for you, Taya?
I like getting, it's like presents, like Christmas. I'm wearing literally like the hoodie and the t-shirt right now that I got given. So very nice.
Oh, it's always fun as a kid, and unless you've got anyone kind of away from your area that sends you a cute little parcel for a birthday or Christmas, you don't get very much post as a 12-year-old, I find. But it's still exciting as an adult, wouldn't you agree, Danielle? If you have little parcels in the post.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Yeah, she loved it. She loved opening it all as well.
So nice, so nice. This is the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. One of the things that would really help this show to grow is by you subscribing on whichever platform you are on: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or even Amazon Music. If you could do that for me right now, I'd be forever grateful. Today, I'm having a conversation with Taya Jones and her mum, Danielle. So, Taya, let's go back to when you started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or maybe even before. Why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? And tell me.
So when I was little, I watched a lot of WWE and wrestling, and basically I want to be a wrestler when I was little. And then I kept asking my mum, like, if I could do wrestling, and then the thing is, there was no wrestling clubs around by us though. So then she searched up things like wrestling and things close to it, and she found jiu-jitsu because there was one in Frome, which was like closest to us. And then I started, and I really enjoyed it.
Amazing. Now, tell me about what inspired you about watching WWE. Why was it so exciting when you were very young?
Well, my dad and my sister used to watch it a lot, and then I used to just like come down when they were watching it, and then we used to stay up and watch the pay-per-views and stuff, and then I was like, I want to do wrestling, and yeah.
So what did mum and dad say about you wanting to do wrestling? Were they surprised?
Well, my dad was happy with it, I think, but my mum was a bit like, she was like, "Oh, really, wrestling? Maybe you want to try something else first."
Oh, I can imagine you saying that, Danielle.
Yeah.
So you've not got any martial arts in your background either, or have you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. No. So, no, it's a new martial arts is all new to the family. But Tay was always quite sporty, and so she did lots of different sports before she started martial arts. She did gymnastics, and she did dance, and she did trampolining, and each sport that she was always like really good, but and her coaches were always wanting to like push her, but she just got to a point. It took like a few months, 6 months in, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore."
Yeah.
So then, when she stopped everything, and she just kept saying, "I just want to do wrestling. That's all I want to do." And I just thought, do you know what? I'm just like, she knows what she wants. I'm just gonna let her go and let her try it. And we found Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I must admit, I'd never even heard of Jiu Jitsu. I didn't know it was a thing. But when we went to the first class, and she was taking her dad down because when she went into her trial class, it was her dad went in with her to be like her buddy, and she was able to, like, double leg him, and she was taking him to the floor. Well, that was it. She was hooked, and I knew from then. I was like, yeah, this is what she wants to do. This is what we're going to be doing.
I love the challenge we have as parents, when there's lots of different activities and you hope one day that something that the children are doing, they're going to stick at and they're going to really enjoy, and it's kind of going to carry them through their childhood. And I think that's always the hope, that actually you can just kind of settle. Life is so active with school activities and lots of other things going on. Sometimes you just need one or two activities outside of school that are stable and consistent and give you a nice kind of community, and for the whole family as well. Because I know Gracie Barra is very family orientated, and kind of supporting everybody within that. So often it's not just Taya training. Have you got to know a lot of the coaches and other kind of athletes and hobbyists in the mix of Gracie Barra, Danielle?
Yes, yeah. So the coaches, basically, they're like family. They're incredible. We're so lucky. I think, as well as loving the sport, one of the reasons why Taya enjoys it so much and she trains so much is because of the coaches and the professors and her training partners, that she trains with. They're just so supportive. So like the wonky strike. We mess about. It's not, they have fun, but she
Yeah,
learns so much, and they're just they're like family, and they just look after her, and they treat they treat her brilliantly. And through the competition community, I mean, Taya's just met so many people, and I've met so many people. It's incredible how many amazing girls and boys are out there that compete, and she's made so many friends, and through her friends, I've made friends through other mums and parents
yeah,
going through the same thing.
yeah,
You sort of meet up on a competition side of a competition mat,
yeah.
ready. So it's definitely the socialness, and being the inclusive side of it is brilliant.
Yeah, I think it gives us as parents another kind of dimension, a kind of friendship group, whether we train or not. They're just kind of, a growing community of like-minded individuals going through the same thing, whether it's you and Taya's dad, Danielle, driving 6.5 hours to a venue, or getting on a plane and going to Rome with her, or whatever it happens to be, or even washing the kit, because there are some downsides as
Oh
well,
yeah,
aren't there?
yeah, yeah. It is. It's hard work. It's a big commitment. Like, say, she trains every day, so we work full time. So, and then we obviously she take her to training, um, making sure everything's clean and ready to go, getting her
Yeah,
to competitions. Um, it's hard work as a parent. It's definitely hard work when you've got a child that's an active competitor,
yeah,
and enjoys training so much. He just wants to do it all the time.
I love it.
But yeah, I wouldn't change it at all. Like, this is what she wants to do. This is
Yeah,
her life, and she just, she loves it. I just, support her 100%.
amazing. Now, Taya, how much do you owe your mum and dad for supporting you on your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu journey?
I think a lot. Because
I think so.
they drive me places and buy me my gis and stuff.
Yeah.
So they are quite supportive. I'll give it to
Good.
them.
All right, that's fine. You'll have to accept that one, Danielle. I'm sure she
that's
loves.
better than I thought.
Oh, I
You
love
never know
that.
what's going to come out with Taya's, like when she's talking.
I know. Okay, right, Taya. The last part of this show is about you. Tell me a bit about you watching wrestling and how exciting that was for you.
When I watched wrestling, well, it was exciting because when I started watching it, I became attached to certain wrestlers. I liked some of them more than the others, and I just found it exciting. There's when there's a pay-per-view coming up, and when there was the fights, and me and my dad would stay up to watch them, and then we would watch the fights for the belts and stuff. That made me really excited, and we used to always have bets on who would win, and I was really just I just really loved it, and I liked watching it, and
It's very
yeah.
cool. So, who are your favourite wrestlers from when you used to watch, Taya?
I liked Alexa Bliss and Roman Reigns when I used to watch it.
Okay. I don't know who they are because I'm quite a bit older than you, Taya. So it was Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks. Danielle, you might remember some of those names.
Yeah, I do. I remember them. I do, and I expect Taya's watched a lot of the old ones as well. So she probably knows them as
Good.
well.
I always used to love watching it, and the most exciting bit for me, Taya, was when they used to bounce off the ring sides and kind of propel themselves at each other and do takedowns. It was definitely not a double leg takedown; it was more of a belly takedown.
Yeah.
So, do you remember any specific moves that you used to enjoy watching? Because obviously they're competing for belts, which you now do. Are there any moves that kind of you've tried on the mats?
Well, not I'm not on the map. Well, obviously, armbar, one of them.
Yeah.
Not on the mat. I've not
I'm pleased
tried
you said that. But obviously, there's some element of wrestling, but sometimes when you're kind of not messing around but having fun, you might attempt a certain legal jiu-jitsu move that might look like some kind of wrestling move. Have you got any? Have you? I mean, the double leg takedown when you were kind of sparring with your dad or training with your dad the very first time. How did that feel? Being able to take your dad down?
Yeah, it was good to take my dad down. But yeah, I liked beating up my dad. That was, but yeah, it was quite fun. It was quite strange at first because it was I didn't really understand what was going on. But then since I watched wrestling, I was a bit I knew a bit, but it was good because it felt like when they were doing wrestling, it felt like I was fighting against my dad, and I used to always say to my dad that I would be able to win against him, and I think I still could win against him.
I love that, and I think the more you progress, Taya, and the older you get, I think your mum and dad best be able to run very fast.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, Taya, you're 12 now. What age did you start training?
I started when I was 8 years old.
goodness. So you've had a fair old career so far.
Yeah.
And do you remember any of your kind of early promotions and kind of progress through stripes and belts?
I remember getting my grey and white belt because I got it on the podium in a competition. I got given my grey and white belt, which was probably my favourite. Like, other than yellow belt, I think yellow belt was my favourite promotion, but my grey and white belt was definitely very special because it was like I think it was like the first gold medal or like in a competition that I'd earned, and then they gave me the grey and white belt the same day. So I
Amazing.
felt very happy about that.
Oh, that's so nice. And I think remembering some of those promotions, as you progress through the years, it's orange after yellow, isn't it? And then green. I mean, I know there's kind of white versions of them and then black versions of them, and then kind of 16 and beyond, you get into the kind of junior adult zone. Do you see a long career ahead of you, Taya, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, I think I'll be doing jiu-jitsu for a while.
Okay, Mum, brace yourself.
Yeah, I think this is only the beginning for Taya. We've definitely spoke about her future with her professors about
Yeah.
where she's going with it, and where she wants to end up, and what kind of sort of she's on this trajectory that's quite incredible at the moment. So yeah, we are. I think definitely on a. This is definitely just the beginning. I'm excited to see what opportunities are going to happen for her in the future as she just keeps training and just being herself. And I think
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really good.
Oh, amazing. Are you happy to share where you see yourself in the future, Taya?
Well, I want to do a lot of competitions in the future. I want to go to the Pans,
Yeah.
and I want to do the Europeans more. I want to win like lots of titles and stuff, and I want to win a big check. That's my goal.
Okay, I'm sure that can be arranged. I'm not sure whether they still do checks. I don't think they're legal anymore, but I like it might just be a very small digital transfer. But I'm sure a large check thing might well be happening at some point in your future. I love that. Now, are there any females that compete at Brazilian Jiu Jitsu that you aspire to be like, or you follow their journeys?
There's Fionn Davies. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah.
I'm bad at pronouncing people's names, but she's very amazing. And then Helena Craver.
Yeah.
Pronounce the name right. They're very amazing, and they're probably very inspiring. They're quite inspiring, I think.
Now, you mentioned watching pay-per-view. I've only recently just signed up to UFC Fight Pass for the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I was able to watch the Helena Cravar and the her match the other weekend. Were you able to watch that? Or have you seen any clips of it?
I haven't seen any clips.
That was an incredible match. I won't give the game away. Maybe Mum and Dad can let you see some of those clips of that match. But I equally follow Fionn Davis and Helena Cravar. I think they're incredible role models for any of us females and males in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Is there anyone else that you want to mention? Because we have Olivia Marlowe, no, not Olivia, Lily Marlowe's episode coming up, as well as Frankie Lee Monahan. You know them quite well?
Yeah, they're good friends with me.
And have you, forgive me, I'm not sure whether you might have competed against them, or do you train with them? I've seen you and Lily training together.
Yeah, I haven't competed against them because we've been like different like weights and ages and stuff. But I train with them, and they're very tough. They
Are they?
beat me up a lot.
Okay. Good. Well, not good. It sounds like, you know, there's an element of toughness that you know, we're looking forward to in the upcoming episodes, where I was chatting with them. They certainly didn't necessarily come across on the episode as tough, but I will continue to watch their game, and you know, as well as your game. Now, what else is coming up for you in the rest of 2025?
So shall I answer this?
Yeah.
So we've got the Europeans booked in. She's doing the CompNet Europeans on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we are looking at the British Open and the British Nogi. The elite competitions are really good competitions to do. I think it's the international coming up soon, so looking at doing that one. And yeah, this year was like, as it's her first year as a yellow belt, this was like the year that we were going to sort of just see how she gets on in her new division.
Yeah.
She's getting on very well, which is amazing. So we're going to sort of concentrate on a lot of training, going to explore different gyms, lots of seminars. Like we were saying about Lily, like Lily lives up near Nottingham, so it's quite like a travel for us. So we went up there, we'll go up and see Lily, we'll stay there, and then they can train. We're planning on going over to Ireland to see Frankie, so they can train, because they're just such incredible. They're both incredible girls. So you put
Yeah.
them together on a mat and just say, do you know what, girls, you just like go for it. And Taya and Lily have the most incredible sparring matches. It's great to watch, and it really they push each other.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant. So just lots of that for this year. And then next year we're sort of look at expanding, and like Taya's mentioned, the Pans. We might look at the Worlds, the Abu Dhabi World. So yeah, there's lots of things in there, lots of plans.
Fantastic. And I know Kaylee, Lily's mum, you know, she's gone through it with Olivia. So she's quite experienced in traveling and getting people to places and everything else. So I guess from you know, having a network of mums and parents to support you as well, Danielle, because if you're supporting Taya, you know, both you and Taya's dad, you know, everyone needs to support everybody else. So it sounds like you've got a massively growing community, all working towards the same goals for your children.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very good friends with Kaylee. I met Kaylee through the girls. So, and yeah, she's a great friend, and a great person to talk to about
Yeah.
what it's like to have a child, like, you know, taking her abroad a lot, because it was
Yeah.
quite daunting. We took Taylor abroad for the first time last year for the Europeans, and it's a completely different vibe, completely different experience, yeah, so I think having everyone supporting you, and also going to the Europeans as with people that you know, we're going as like a group of friends this time in
Yeah.
Rome. We're all looking forward to it. Yeah, and then just having the children's got each other's parents to support as well, so we all
Yeah.
support each other's kids. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's good fun as well. we're all about the fun. We like it. We like to make it fun.
Amazing. Taya, have you got anything else to add, or anything else you want to say about jiu-jitsu?
I don't know. Well, I really enjoy it, and
Good.
I think that's about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say if
Well,
anyone's thinking of starting jiu-jitsu, a child, as a parent with a child, they would definitely definitely something to consider.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, there's a massive community of parents that either train or support their children. And Taya, I cannot wait to see your growth and progression throughout your jiu-jitsu career. We are observing and supporting from the sidelines, maybe not from Rome this time, but do enjoy the city because it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me again and having this conversation. I wish you lots of future wonky stripes, Taya. How can people follow Taya's journey?
So yeah, through her Instagram is the best way at the moment. We're looking at sort of opening up other socials, but at the moment the Instagram is her Instagram is very like we update it. I update it quite often. I run the Instagram, but Taya's has it. She uses it to message her friends, and talk to her friends. So it's Taya J _ BJJ _ TAGB. So yeah, it's the best way to see what she's up to, see what she's doing, the competition side of it, and also just how her training and just get to know her really as yeah, she's a character.
Well, we are very much discovering that, Taya. Right. Well, thank you both very much. And I look forward to following your journey and maybe seeing you in Salisbury or Frome at some point soon.
Brilliant. That'd be great.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for telling your friends about this show. And as soon as this episode ends, I'd really appreciate you dropping the show a rating and a review. Thanks again for listening. Catch you on the next episode of the Jiu-Jitsu podcast.